Welcome. I am Dali, the host of the Dalitalks show, where I share my knowledge and valuable information in hopes to inspire you to reach your goals, overcome challenges, and so that you know that you're not alone. Today's guest is Omar Iglesias. Omar was born in Puerto Rico to two amazing dads. He enlisted in the Navy, and it was then when he found out that he had a condition called clubfoot. Omar is now an adaptive sports athlete who uses his own stories to inspire people to push themselves and to overcome physical and mental challenges. So without further ado, here's Omar Iglesias. How are you, Omar? Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hi, Dali. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited for people to learn about you because I feel like your story is very inspiring. So can you tell us a little bit about the beginning? You enlisted in the Navy. Can you tell us about, what led you to say, hey, I'm going to join the Navy, and how old were you? And, what did you decide to do?
I was born in 1985 in Puerto Rico, and I was born and raised by two amazing dads. Two gay dads, and one of which is my uncle, my mother's brother, and his husband, who became my baptism godfather. So they raised me up to be a young man. They made a push to always sit at the table, do homework, working on academics, and always push into academics, and when able, in free time, do some sports. So I was able to balance everything little by little, and while I was growing up, and I graduated high school at 15. I also found my love for the military because of different military movies. Most noticeable, or most notably, the Top Gun movie with Tom Cruise. And I specifically wanted the job of a gentleman inside of a dark room where that you had to write backwards, and he would talk to a pilot and F-14 Tomcat pilot, which that was the aircraft at the time that Tom Cruise was flying, and Iceman as well. And so I graduated high school at 15, went off to college for a few years in a foreign country in Dominican Republic, and decided that wasn't for me and decided to drop out and enlist. And so I embarked on my Navy career on September 27, 2004. And so I left Puerto Rico. I enlisted out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, and then ended up at Great Lakes, also known as Great Mistakes, Illinois. And so I go from being a coconut, and by coconut I mean an island boy, an island kid, to, hey, I'm somewhere that gets extremely cold because of the Great Lakes, Michigan Lake.
So at what point during your service did you find out that you have clubfoot?
Summer of 2009, right before I deployed, we went out for an event. And I call it an event, a training event. And we had to ruck with about 100 pounds of gear, which a ruck is, think of a backpack that weighs 100 pounds with food, water, ammunition, medical supplies. Think of being stranded camping and you got to grab all your stuff. That's what it is, plus your guns, your firearms. And so we rucked 17 miles at a training base near New Mexico, and it was pretty hot. It was around July timeframe to September of that year. And when I came back home, or not home, but back to the barracks, I went to shower. And when I got done showering, I went to dry off, and I went to step out of the shower. And as I went to step out, my left foot just crumbled. Like it folded inside. And so that's when the first serious cases started to happen, that my foot was not responding well. But before that, I knew I was born with some sort of disability, but I didn't pay mind to it because my dads didn't ever treat me different. I knew I was operated twice, never asked details. In fact, when I enlisted in the military, I didn't know any details because I was adopted. And again, my dads never taught me, hey, you're disabled, you're handicapped. I was never treated any different. On the contrary, I was pushed to do basketball, riding a bike, rollerblading, skateboarding, swimming, go on a playground, go hiking. You name it, I was doing it, football. And so I would always try to push as a normal kid. So then my dream, as I progressed in my career, was to be the best operations specialist AIC and somehow get into special warfare at the time. And that's when I started realizing that I wasn't able to meet some of the physical demand that it takes to be a Navy SEAL. And so I diverted to getting my college education.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Well,
how that came about.
yeah. See, it's amazing how much you do when you're not told that you have some sort of limitation. And I'm very happy to hear that your parents did that for you, because you certainly do grow up with thinking maybe a little insecurity when you're told,
Yeah.
hey, actually you know you have this. And yeah, so that's amazing. So what about now moving forward with adaptive sports? When I first spoke with you, I mentioned I'd never heard that term before. And from what I see on your Instagram page, it looks a lot like the Special Olympics type of events. So can you go into that and explain for our viewers what adaptive sports is?
Yeah, for sure. So, someone with my disability or my impairment, I really dislike using disability because I think it's just a kind of not a very positive word, and I try to always be positive. So, excuse me. My impairment, I'm one of a very few cases of a club footer. Club footer normally the foot is walked on a point and then inverted.
Okay.
So in some instances they cut around the Achilles and the Achilles grows back. Um, but in my instance, mine didn't. And so I practice adaptive sports, or I compete in adaptive sports, which are very similar to the Paralympics.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have athletes with different impairments. You can be a neuro, which means some sort of neurological impairment. You can be a upper, which means that you are missing some sort of either visual impairment, which now it's breaking off to their own division, or a individual that's missing an arm or fingers. Or you can be a lower like myself, where you have some sort of impairment with your legs. You can be missing toes. You can have no Achilles. You can have a smaller left leg like I do, and shorter, and then you have no Achilles. So that range of motion, when we do a weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, or when we run long distance, or when we're consistently on our feet for so long, it deters our muscle and it slows us significantly down.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been practicing sports all my life. Fun fact, I was in the Olympic sporting school in Salinas, Puerto Rico, for Puerto Rico, which you have to qualify to hopefully go through the ranks and qualify to represent the Puerto Rico Olympic team in swimming. So all my life I've been into some sort of sport, been very, very active. My parents always had me doing yard work. So, it came about, okay, let me go from here. Now that I know that after having that discussion with my parents about my leg, I was like, okay, so I am a little bit different. And you know what? Different is okay.
Yeah.
How do I pivot? And a common theme is, how do you consistently keep pivoting? Not because you can't do something, but you're pivoting to do it. You might just take a detour, and we take detours all the time in life. And so I had the opportunity to pivot and find that within CrossFit, there was a very, very, very small community in 2014-15 that was slowly coming up. Like, hey, I'm missing an arm. Hey, man, I'm missing an eyeball. Hey, man, my leg's short. Hey, man, I am a dwarf. Okay, let's throw down. Let's tailor the workouts to where you are at as an athlete based off of your impairment, and let's push.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's going to be other folks out there that have similar impairments, and they're going to look at you like, how does he do it? How does Omar do it? How does she do it? And that's how I got involved with Paralympic sports and CrossFit for adaptive athletes. And so it started taking off, I want to say 2015, 2016. There might be right now about 300 athletes that are known that compete worldwide. There's much more out there that are slowly like, hey, I got a place to play now. Like, it's fair play field. And at the end of the day, like, winning is awesome. It's great to be recognized, but most definitely, I think the goal for every single athlete in the community is to impact someone else's life. And so that it has been the driving force behind our community. It's a very small community, and it's very fun to see that. So unfortunately, the pandemic canceled many of our events. And then yesterday, Friday, we just launched something with Team USA Functional Fitness, which for the first time, I'm helping them, and I'm sitting on the board they're bringing us in. So we just built out a online competition. There's going to be 4 workouts. Everybody gets to do them from home. Every adaptive athlete is welcome. It doesn't matter, all the way from a wheelchair seated athlete all the way to a standing upper and lower. And we broke it down accordingly to everybody doing the same workouts with the same stimulus across all different divisions, and everybody can do them around the world. And so hopefully launch it to make it bigger.
Yeah. Oh, that's really awesome. And one thing I noticed on your page is that, well, number one, a lot of people follow you, and I think that they feel the same enthusiasm that I feel when I go to your page. And all of you are so supportive. It's a really beautiful community. And you don't see that very much, not in this way. There's something really special. If you all are watching, you got to come on and look at this page and the stories, because you have just an array of different types of people with different conditions, and everybody's very positive. You never hear anything negative. And I'm sure that there are moments where sometimes people feel like, it gets to them because somebody might have said something, but you don't see that on your page, and everything's very positive, and I love that about it. The other thing that you and I spoke before this was about that story of you inspiring children. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Oh man, so we're in 2020. I want to say the first year, and I'm looking up because I'm thinking, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I will travel every August. I normally travel to an event called Warhorse Games. It's a nonprofit for military veterans and first responders, and helping us work with horses to help cope with PTSD. So they launched this event, this workout, this competition, and some of the best CrossFitters in the world: Jacob Hepner, Easy Muhammad, Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith is an active duty Army officer, and many other top athletes show up to show some support, throw down, and by throwing down, compete. And then we have an adaptive division, and so I was honored to take part of the first class, and I believe what you're referring to is the second workout. I had a judge, and she mentioned to me, "Hey, I just want to let you know my daughter's watching you." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "That's awesome! Like, that's great." She's right there in the bleachers, and my eyes are watering. But and then she was like, no pressure, but she has a club foot like you, and I knew that you were coming to Kansas from New York, and I wanted her to see you in action so she can get inspired and motivated to work out, and that she can see that she can be an athlete just like you. And what I didn't mention previously to you was there was another judge that actually, he has a prosthetic leg and he has a club foot as well on his other foot. And so he heard that, and this is right before going out, Dali, right before the horn goes off so we can start competing. And I'm like, okay, we got to hold back tears now, because now it's like no pressure. I'm out here for fun, because in that moment, everybody knows me. I'm very competitive in almost everything I do in life, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I like to always put my best effort forward, my best result forward, and I enjoy, and I'm blessed to compete against some of my best friends in this sport and military brothers. And I was like, man, no pressure. I have a little girl looking at me right now. And so went on. The workout was a running workout, and it was a running workout, burpees, and farmer's carry, odd object. And so the little girl got to see me in action, and then she was like, how do you do that? What do you do to recover for the leg? Because as a club footer, all the stress builds up around the knee, the left quad, and the left calf on my foot. And so how do I release all that stress? And so I told the mom, I used the mom as a demo, and I pressure pointed certain muscles that she can use to help her daughter release. And I showed her some of the tools that I use to help me recover, and so that, I think, is the driving force behind competing in adaptive sports. And I think that, and you and I have spoke about this, that with everything going on in our lives, you and I are in a stage where we can, in our lives, where we are afforded an opportunity to kind of bring conversations up, but the children are going to be the catalyst of those changes. and they're
Absolutely.
going to be that future of not only this country but the world. And so by having conversations at an early age and teaching them that, again, it's okay to be different, it's definitely okay to be you, and more importantly, find something that you're passionate about and do it. And if you can change someone's life by your actions, then I don't care if you make $300,000 a year, that change will just be a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, in a nutshell, what I kind of stand by. And um, that doesn't take away that we're human and we don't make mistakes, because Lord knows, I think you know this too. We make mistakes on a daily basis, but not understanding that we've made that mistake, take a quick note and be like, okay, let me not take that left turn again. Let me take a right turn maybe. And hey, you might make a right turn and make a mistake again. But more importantly, someone else is always watching. Someone, and hopefully it's a younger generation. And that's, in a nutshell. Initially, I got into sports because I wanted to get healthier, but then I found my passion, which to motivate kids and lead kids and other adults too that are shy to get out of their shell because they think they may be judged because they have an impairment or disability, or because society has been negative to them. And so my job is to I don't care if you're in a wheelchair, I don't care what your disability impairment is, but if someone is in front of me and trying to bully you for it, I don't care if you're a kid or an adult, I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to be there to ensure that he or she is respected and that he or she has those opportunities that many others can have.
Yeah.
So
So if somebody's watching right now and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so inspired! I'm gonna go and compete with Omar," or go, to one of these competitions aside from the one that's online, what resources can you share with them? Where, assuming COVID is over and we can continue as usual, what organizations should they be looking at or to consider if they're a kid or an adult wanting to get into adaptive sports competitions?
so they can always look at U.S. Paralympics. If they're interested in CrossFit, they can look at Wheel WOD. They can also look at USA Functional Fitness. They can also look at, uh, they can reach out to me on Bearder Panda, the website, Bearder Panda 609. They can reach out on my Instagram, Bearder Panda 609, or my Twitter is Bearder Panda 609. And just ask. There's no stupid questions. Just ask. Simply ask. Because those questions, your question might be someone else's question. And it's going to be a ripple effect, a snowball, and it's going to help answer those questions. There's everybody has an opportunity for a sport. There's playing fields, so many opportunities for athletes.
So what is the youngest age for competitors?
Um, so the youngest age that I've known so far of an adaptive athlete competing in CrossFit, she was, I think Josie is now 12, so she was
Oh, wow.
10 and 9 at the
Wow, that's
time.
really young.
Yeah,
That's
she's out of Missouri.
hmm
Yeah,
Wow.
and she's a wheelchair athlete, and she does sprint tracks, and she does CrossFit, and she does basketball.
Wow, that's so impressive. That's really,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and if that's something that you're interested in, I can always connect you with her. She's currently learning sign language. I call her my little sister. She's an amazing, bright little bulb of girl, and she, in my eyes, she's the future of the sport.
Yeah.
I'm 34. She's young. She's it. So the younger guys and gals are like, all right, how can I help you get better? Here's this opportunity. So while I do compete now, my job is to continue to find different new events where, hey, would you mind me competing in the able-bodied division? I'm not here to win a prize because I may have to alter some sort of movement due to my disability or impairment, but I want to give the opportunity to show others that, hey, you can sign up for these events and throw down and give your best effort. And the great thing about I love rowing and CrossFit, but my passion is CrossFit. The great thing about CrossFit is the last person in the workout always gets the loudest cheer.
hmm
So normally I can be rowing wall balls and pull-ups, and I'm the last athlete on that floor and at the gym. I can guarantee you that I'm going to have 6 or 7 random people that are in and they'll cheer me on.
hmm
And that's what I like about the community. And I think that's what athletes or anyone that practices sports love. It's that community, that camaraderie, and that's what makes it so home.
Yeah, definitely. I love that too, because you can feel it. So let's
Yeah.
pivot a little bit. Let's pivot a little bit to bullying, because that is one of the main things that I teach. And you shared with me a few experiences of how you were bullied and how you handled it. So can you share a few stories about that? A few occasions?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So while I'm sharing this, you'll probably either hear a chuckle or a comment from my dad in the background somewhere.
That's okay.
Um, so as a child growing up from 1985 forward, when I went to school here in Atlantic City or New Jersey and in Puerto Rico, a lot of people at the time weren't accustomed to hearing the story of two gay parents raising a child. And so when second grade, third grade, and up, when kids found out, they would try to make some sort of comment about that and feel some type of way. And so while I was a straight A student and a very good scholar or a student academically, I didn't let people kind of talk smack. So they tried to bully me. And at the time, I was a small little kid. So as I started getting my growth spurt and getting bigger, and I started like pushing back physically, and not something that you should do as a kid, unfortunately. But it was a different time. So I think that being able for me to stand up on my own, even though my parents were very loved in the school districts and they did a lot of community service and help, kids don't know any better.
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to the conversation of it's on us to talk to our children. It's on us to talk to the future generations. Like, hey, it's okay to be gay. It's okay to have a disability. It's okay to be white, black, purple, blue, yellow, red. It's okay to shave your head or leave a beard or not have a beard and have hair. Or if you're a woman, if you want to wear whatever type of makeup, you want to do your hair into braids, you want to do anything, it's okay. Find you. That's the most important thing. And no one should bully anybody for that. It doesn't matter sex, creed, religion, anything, politics, anything. It shouldn't be. We as adults need to nip it in the bud. And I think that those conversations starts with our kids.
Yeah.
And that's going to change in future generations to avoid a lot of the issues that we have currently in America and the world. And so I dealt with it by burying myself into schoolwork, sports, and kind of talking back. So I was always in trouble because I would talk back and speak up, and my teachers would never see that the kids initiated it, but they kind of got a glimpse of it as I grew older, and I was older and going into high school, where I would speak up. I was like, look, I reacted this way because this situation occurred, and I'm so sorry, but I am not a problem child. You can look at my grades. I'm always in the honor roll. Obviously, I'm tired of this. And if a teacher's not going to do something, I'm going to speak up. And if that means, unfortunately, have to push a kid away from me or run away from a kid or last resort fight, then I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's how I dealt with bullying. And even in the military, in my younger years, it was don't ask, don't tell. I actually just did a workout last Saturday about a African American officer in the Army who was killed in service on the line of duty. And he was one of the first known officers to be gay. Highly educated man, wrote his theses on a don't ask, don't tell policy at the time, early 2000s in the Army. And at the time, you couldn't be gay and serve in the military.
Right. Yeah.
And so many of my fellow sailors that were gay were being harassed or bullied. And I would stand up for it. I'm like, nah, man, that's not the right thing to do. He or she, doesn't matter what they love, who they love.
I think it's incredible, and that your story, having experienced bullying, is pretty unique because of the fact that you stood up for yourself. Because I feel like a lot of children don't have the courage or maturity level that you had to talk to the teachers and say, okay, yeah, this might be considered me talking back, but this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And a lot of kids don't have the courage to explain that. And I think that if we were to teach our children to explain that part of their story, that maybe teachers or other adults would do something about it instead of just reprimanding, for, hey, you got into another altercation or whatever. And also, of course, obviously, because of your experience watching, people try to attack you for having gay dads or for whatever reason, that allowed you to see the world in a different view. And
Mm-hmm.
and also, like the military experience too. I'm pretty sure it was very important for people who were maybe in the closet, know that you were an ally. And
Yes,
I think
definitely.
yeah, I think that the majority of military members feel um, that it's not important for them if somebody is gay or not. I think it's all about pulling your weight, doing the work, because that's what
That's
you.
all I cared about.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I had my first ship. I had ladies. They were lesbians. They are lesbians, and they were E5s, just like me. And those were my go-to. Those were my girls. Like I'd be like, "Yo, like Flynn, I need your help on this." She's like, "I got you." When I volunteered to go to Iraq, Ryan Kelleher, he's a chief petty officer in the United States Navy now. Might be a senior chief at this point. He we bunked together. He was scared to tell me he was gay.
Hmm.
And I called him out on it. I was like, I know you're gay. I know you don't want to go to the bar with me because you think that I'm trying to like pick up a chick and I'm going to push you to do that. I was like, nah, man, I'm just trying to get off base. I love you for you. He started feeling more comfortable in 2009, 2010, and one of my tightest brothers in arms to this day. And it shows that if you can be an ally, people start being true to themselves. And again, that's the most important part, that folks have to understand that it's okay to be different. More importantly, you have to be true to you. You have to be true to yourself. Nobody can love you better than yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of one of the things that I try to preach the most, like even to my loved ones. I'm like, dude, like we all fight different battles. Some folks consistently, no matter how hard they work out, I'm not happy with my body. How hard or however hard they study, I'm not happy with my grades. We consistently as humans find a way to put ourselves down instead of looking at how far we've come and how much work we've done and how much progress we've accomplished, and giving ourselves a pat on the back. And it ripples down to kids. It's kids imitate what we do.
Yeah, and definitely. And I think that listening to stories like yours is impactful, because just like you were one day watching Top Gun, it's like, hey, the military, you end up in the military because you watched the movie, because this actor did such a great job portraying the role of a fighter pilot. It's amazing. So I'm pretty sure that somebody here is watching this video and they've just now learned about what an adaptive sports athlete looks like, what he does, what his core values are, and that you're very accepting, not just of people with different physical impairments,
Limitations.
but you're also embracing other differences, like sexuality. And if you are watching this and you are not a normative, heterosexual person, yeah, there are people out there that will accept you in
Take
the
care.
way you are. And you just, like you said, you have to show love for yourself, because then nobody will love you the same. And I think
Yep.
that also, just by loving yourself, it kind of like invokes this aura of just gravitating to the people who will do the same for you. So
Yep.
yeah.
And you eventually build your own tribe, which is why I added the the tribe to Bearded Panda,
Right. So
because
just,
you add your own tribe.
yeah, and about your website, actually, can you tell us a little bit about what people can expect to find on your website on beardedpanda609.com?
Yeah, for sure. So on the website, you'll be able to find a little snapshot or a bio about myself. You'll find some lists, some sport activity videos, pictures. You'll find some pictures of myself in one of the best city, if not the best city in the world, New York City. Just being a fool, trying to be a model to help my friends build up their portfolio. And then you'll also be able to see if, depending on different brands that you may need, I'm partnered up with some brands that give a discount code for folks to buy equipment. If there's a specific equipment that you need to work out and you don't know of a place that makes it, but you know what it is, reach out, because I can put you in touch with someone that can help you build a specific strap for your impairment to help you lift or do a gymnastics or to walk, whatever it may be. There's teams out there of companies that are interested in helping. And so, just to name a few, Victory Grip, ESC Sounds for headphones, Autobach, which is most notably known for prosthetics,
Mm-hmm.
and their other company is Ray-Ban. And so they're a European company. There's companies out there that are willing to work with adaptive athletes and Paralympic athletes, and that's one of the best things in the world that I have yet to encounter a door that's I've been told no. On the contrary, if they tell me, "Hey, Omar, no. However, I'm going to put you in contact with Dolly. She may know the person to get you ahead." And that's all there is. It's just asking, and I think that taking that first leap,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the site is. You can just reach out to me there. It goes directly to a Gmail I have linked up to my phone, and I will respond and get you moving in the direct direction. Or you could just hit me up on Instagram and beardedpanda609 and post on one of my pictures. I try to do a little bit of everything, a little bit of sneaker culture, some food, some athletics, which is mainly what the page is about, and share a little bit of my personal journey with my parents and family, but also more importantly, just keep it lighthearted. What you see on there is pretty much what you get. I work full time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a sponsored athlete. I work 40 to 50 hours a week. My hobbies, my extracurricular activities are for our community, to grow our community. Brown, Latino, Black, disabled athletes, just people, and do it to just give back.
Yeah.
Like anybody can reach out for me for anything.
Well, thank you so much, Omar, for sharing about your story, for inspiring my viewers, and for just sharing love and spreading it out there in the world through your Instagram and your website.
No, thanks for having me, and we could definitely always link up and talk about other stuff. I know we have many topics where we can
Mhm.
share.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any last minute comments or updates or events that are coming up you'd want our viewers to know about?
No, currently just competing in the Continental Cup for fun, just to bring more awareness to the adaptive community in CrossFit slash adaptive CrossFit. Besides that, Missouri possibly maybe happening in a couple weeks, depending on COVID, and then going into fall, and if God permitted, everything gets better, then we'll be able to resume more normal training and go right into some qualifications for next year events,
Awesome.
and then just hopefully get in touch with someone that can put me in contact with students in classrooms and talk to them about my experiences, and hopefully motivate them to not only go to college, go to the military, but also practice sports.
Wonderful. So then you're trying to go into classrooms for public
That's
speaking, pretty much.
yeah, and it's that's the goal. That's what I would love to be able to do, to reach. Again, I think that the kids are the more important here piece to changing our culture and our society today.
Yeah, well, there you go. If you're listening and you need an inspiring person to come into your classroom or into your school, you've got Omar. Just reach out to him. Thank you so much, Omar, for this interview. And we'll do this again probably later when you're about to compete, to give us an update.
Yeah, for sure. August 7th, I think, is the comp. And then thank you for having me as always.
Likewise. Well, there you have it. Another amazing, inspiring story. This time it is Omar who has come to the Dalitalks show to inspire us. It is amazing how parents can shape the life and self-view of a child, right? I mean, had Omar's parents told him, hey, buddy, you have this, and because of this, you're not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z, then he probably would have self-limited to trying some of those sports that he grew up playing. And he probably would have not even considered the military, because when you hear, oh, you have a limitation in, a physical one where you cannot do, a lot of running, then you think, well, how would I be able to join the Navy if you have to do a lot of running? But that wasn't the story with him. He went ahead and did everything in his mind that he just wanted to. Omar made a decision to just go for what he wanted to do. And yeah, like you heard him say, he did know something had happened, that he did have some sort of limitation, but that wasn't his main focus. His main focus was I want to do this, therefore I will. And I hope that that is a takeaway that you leave with today. And I hope that you are able to reach out to Omar, reach out to him on Instagram. His handle is beardedpanda609, and his website as well, beardedpanda609.com. If you have any questions about the adaptive sports world, if you want to find out about events, if you just want to go and check one out to support athletes, reach out to him. I know that right now we are not, just like the rest of the world. Um, right now there aren't any in-person events, but stay tuned. There will be some in the near future, and I'm pretty sure that Omar will be announcing it all over his social media and his website. I hope to hear stories of you overcoming your own challenges, whatever they are. And don't forget, if you are a parent or if you're a child, do not allow people to tell you that whatever is different in your life or in your body is wrong. If you have a limitation of some sort or an impairment of some sort and you are reaching for your dreams, I'm pretty sure that you too will be like Omar, inspiring other people, because that is a natural thing that happens. I hope that this story has helped you in some way. And I thank you for always tuning in to the Dalitalks show. If you like this video, please subscribe, click like, and come on over to Dalitalks.com. I revamped the website. It looks so much better. I think you're going to enjoy the experience. And if you are looking for a program that teaches kids how to embrace differences and combat bullying, sign up for the waitlist so that you can learn how the Diversity and Anti-Bullying Academy, also called DABA, can help you.